Okay, so this is the second video in the radius arm repair. In the first video we've removed the radius arm totally, and in this video I'm going to repair it. So what that means is I've got my reamer and I'm going to push out the bushes and the bearing, and I'm going to renew them and resize the bearing with this reamer. So I've got the radius arm in my garage now, and we're just going to strip it down, and I'm actually going to get mine powder coated, so I need everything removed. Now this video is kind of mixed in with another couple of videos including the brakes and the bearings, so sorry if it gets a bit confusing. First let's look at the pivot shaft. So before I attempt to undo these nuts at the end, I like to go over with a wire brush. Just clean up the threads so those nuts should undo nicely. So at least this shaft is turning nicely, so that's a good indication that it's not totally shot. As I'm turning this, the inner nut is coming undone. That's the one you had to remove anyway to get it off the radius arm. I've also taken it off the bracket, as you can see on the outside. Okay, so that's that off. We should be able to wiggle this out. There it comes. Focus. It's a very dark picture. Come on, focus for me. Okay, I'll put that down there and see if we can zoom in. So there you go, that is the shaft. And you can see on this end, I'll zoom in on that bit just so you can see what I'm looking at. On this side you can see where you've got the lines where the needle bearings have been sat, so that started to fail, and on this side it's really quite rusty and pitted, and that's where the phosphor bronze bush is, and that's on the outside. So needle bearing is on the inside, bushing is on the outside. So that's the first part of this job. The next part will be to push out the old bushing and the bearing. So to get the bushes out and the bearing out, you need to find a suitable drift. And what I've done in the past is I've used the old shaft, which I'll just zoom in so you can see. Focus. Focus. So yeah, as you can see, I've just cleaned that up and made it nice and sharp. So hopefully I can now use that to drift out the bush and the bearing. So just to demonstrate, I've put the sharpened end in the needle end, and as I go down there you can hear it catching the edge of the bush. So that's what you want to happen, but it only works if you clean up this end and take off the little chamfer. So now I'm going to find that end and hopefully give it a good smack with a lump hammer. Okay, so the first method of using the drift didn't work to get either of them out. So I've gone on to the second method, which is on the phosphor brush. As I zoom in you'll be able to see, you should be able to fold it in. And it took a couple of attempts, but I finally managed to find where the join line is. So if I carry on tapping that, I will eventually be able to pull that out. Okay, so I've folded over the edge significantly enough so I can put that drift back in and just push it out again. I'll just leave this running as I finish it off. Well, that came out quite quick. So that's the bush. Focus please. Not on my hand, on the bush. Okay, so there it is. And as you can see, I folded over the inside. So that's that one out. Now we should be able to get the other bearing out, but I believe there's also a plastic sleeve in there. I'm not sure if you can really see what I'm doing here, but I've managed to loosen the plastic tube and I've grabbed it with these pliers, give it a little bit of a twist, and then you should be able to pull it out. Obviously covered in grease because that's its job. Yuck. There we go. So now we've got the bronze brush out and the plastic tube out, we should be able to drift the bearing out. Okay, so this is working. I smacked it a good few times at, let's just say, the top, and now I've gone to the bottom As you can see, that is coming out. And there you go. So that's your needle bearing out as well. Okay, so to get the backing plate off, we've had to remove the hub, which I've done in another video, which is the one about bearings. And we're then going to have to undo these 3 nut and bolts. They are 1/2 inch socket, and you're going to need a spanner for the back as well. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do with this radius arm before I get it ready for blasting is remove the handbrake quadrant, as you can see in the middle there. So that is a split pin on the underside, and then pull out the pin, hopefully. Quite often it's little things like this which take the longest to do, because they invariably get rusted in place. I think this one is going to. So it might be easier for me just to snap the ends off, chisel the ends off. I'm not showing off, but I have spares of these as well. Okay, so that's probably the easiest way to do it. I don't want to tap that too hard because I'll blow the end, but... Okay, so that is now moving. Yep. Okay, it's stuck now. Okay, a little wiggle and that came out. That is looking very rusty, and I do have spare parts of everything. Okay, so that is the strip down done. I was hoping to get the bushes done on this video, but it's getting too long, so I'm going to call that it. I did say at the start of the video that I was going to get these radius arms powder coated. I decided not to. What I've decided to do instead was use electrolysis, which there's another video about. And then I've got rid of the rust using electrolysis, and then I've gone over the radius arms with a wire brush and a drill, so rotary wire brush. Then I've cleaned everything up and gone 2 coats of this, which is Built Hamber's Electrox, I think that's called, Electrox. This is a zinc spray, goes on very nicely, and once I've put 2 coats of that, I've then gone for Built Hamber's 2-pack epoxy mastic paint. So at the moment they look like this, and I'm quite pleased with how it's come out. So it feels a really tough paint, and it's gone on very nicely. So anyway, that is the end of this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.